Today, we are talking everything dating anxiety, which is honestly just one of the worst feelings. I'm not even going to lie to you guys right now. That whole like, will we, won't we? Is it okay to open my heart? Am I going to get hurt again? What the fuck is going on is honestly one of the most excruciating, painful things that it's just, I laugh about it, but I don't know. Some people always like look back on like dating anxiety and they're like, oh, I love that whole will we, won't we emotion. I hated it. I hated every single second of it. I just found it so anxiety provoking and such a horrible time. And I'm not telling you this to make you guys feel like you're in the depths of hell. I'm telling you this hopefully so that you guys feel a little bit more understood and normalized in what is a very tricky experience. Now, the topic of today obviously is dating anxiety, but I really want to address dating anxiety into the honeymoon period because dating anxiety, if we don't fully understand it and conceptualize it, can really trip us up because we kind of look for the wrong things, not understanding dating anxiety enough. So first of all, let's break it down super simply so we're all on the same page. Dating anxiety is overthinking, emotional spirals, nervous system activation, and all of these really uncertain emotions that come up when we start liking someone. This can also be very confusing for those with anxious attachment because most people have dating anxiety regardless of their attachment style. This is where all these kind of big ass questions come up where it's like, do they like me? Are they sleeping with someone else? Are they going to hurt me? Like all these really intense feelings and emotions come up and we can start to really kind of overthink or try and predict their behavior and kind of start to make a few assumptions that maybe we shouldn't be. Now, this is what also makes it very confusing because we often think that the honeymoon period starts as soon as you meet someone. So it's like you two have met and it's like so exciting and it's so fun and it's so fresh and it's all these new wonderful things that as soon as like a small hiccup happens, we go, oh my God, nope, look, that's wrong. You know, they're not conscious enough. They're not aware enough. Oh, that they just spoke from a dysregulated place. They just did this. And we kind of start to think that it has to be this perfect idea of like a rom-com honeymoon at the start of a relationship. Now, we do see kind of honeymoon periods start to really kick off once there is a little bit more security. At the start, it is very normal to have a lot of dating anxiety because are you ever going to see that person again? Are they going to ghost you? Are you going to find out something that you really dislike? Like there's just so many what ifs and like lack of questions and there's not like that emotional security and feeling safe in the dynamic. It brings up a lot of wounds and emotions and a lot of stuff within ourselves. We've also got to remember like what is the honeymoon period? The honeymoon period is a whole bunch of different neurochemicals. So when we have that dopamine, that serotonin, and we've got that cortisol spike, naturally it's a mix of like excitement and also anxiety at the same time. At the start of dating someone and we get excited and we like them, then we can almost even just switch a little bit because we can't fully relax until we kind of get that emotional security or that more definition that maybe we're craving or that we're after. And our body starts to become a little bit hypervigilant, looking for threats, looking for signs that the connection is going to end, all of these things, right? Our job is not just to get rid of that, okay? It's part of the human experience. It's part of the dating experience, and it's not necessarily a fun one, but our whole goal is to really utilize the tools that we learn on our own inner healing journey in this time. Like this is when you get to practice your self-regulation. This is when you get to practice communicating what is going on from a vulnerable place. This is where we get to learn how to navigate all those tools that we've been working so hard on and learning how to now take them and turn them into positive relationship skills. We also need to remember that dating isn't linear and there's going to be little moments where you start to see glimpses of the other person's wounds or maybe what you're working with, and people often even trip up a little bit more in dating due to that lack of security than what they would in the actual relationship itself. And now, a lot of that anxiety can come from the fact that there's no clear definition or no clear label, or you don't know if they're sleeping with someone. And that alone is enough to activate your nervous system beyond any kind of wound activation that might also be going on at the same time. It's really important to remember that the dating process is not linear, and there's times that you're going to make mistakes and they're going to make mistakes. We are all human, but this is really a time to, like I said, practice those skills of that emotional regulation, clear communication, learning to ask instead of assume, and being more curious and leaning in. But it's also a really good time to see between you and that person, like, do you have the capacity to be able to have micro little ruptures or little issues come up and be able to support each other in that? Are you able to bring up how something makes you feel and they're able to say that that's a valid experience or to work through that with you rather than shutting down or pulling away? So as much as these things are painful in themselves, we do really want to almost have these micro experiences because it's really going to help us be able to distinguish whether or not we can make a secure connection with this person. So I've written out a list of a few tips to give you guys if you are struggling to navigate dating anxiety right now. Number one, name it without shame. I feel anxious because I don't know where we stand is a completely valid internal truth. Start there. One thing that I always like to say with this as well is please don't gaslight yourself. I think a lot of the time we think like, oh, but we haven't slept together yet, or we've only been on one date, or we've only whatever it might be, like, and we kind of talk ourselves out of our emotions. But doing that and minimizing your own feelings and gaslighting yourself isn't actually going to help you with the dating anxiety. It's just going to suppress it and make it worse. So if you're feeling like overly attached or anxious about whatever it might be right now, then start with being honest with yourself and start with naming what's going on for yourself so you can distinguish, is it dating anxiety? Is my anxious attachment coming up? What is truly coming up for me so I can work through it from a place of non-judgment. Number two, focus on the what is, not what might be. Anxiety lives in hypotheticals. Anchor into what's happening today. This one is a big one because we can particularly start to create narratives or stories of like assuming kind of that person is dating so many people or is doing all of these things or where they're coming from. And we really just want to focus on like, what are the facts? Like, what do I know? Because I swear to God, the amount of times in like a dating period where I was like, they must be out really late. And then I meet that person and I spend more time with them and they're like the biggest homebody in the world and they're probably at home playing video games. My boyfriend's in the room today. He doesn't play video games. He plays on the computer. He doesn't play on the computer. He works to pay for my holidays. We've really opened ourselves up to the receiving. Anyway, you're distracting the chat. Number three, create small relational anchors. Now, I know that there's like the whole like women shouldn't plan dates, blah, 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 or whatever it might be. But this can be super powerful if you guys have a plan of like when you're going to see each other next. But also if you are like, no, I don't want to like take over like the whole planning or whatever that might be, creating like a little bit of like a ritual, if you will, like really helps say like, I'm here and we're connected. And it helps to really set the tone of the relationship. But it's also really good, not just for them, but like for you and your nervous system. Like your nervous system notices like, hey, I'm going to call you tomorrow after gym. Now my nervous system feels like, oh, okay, like you're going to speak to them tomorrow when you call them after gym. And it really just helps, right? These are all little ways just to anchor yourself in some kind of way. But in saying that, we need to find that healthy balance of interdependence and independence. And the biggest way to do that is to have those small relational anchors, but then also, which is point number 4, keep your own life alive. Don't make the dating process your whole focus. All these little tools that you learn on your own inner journey, the meditation, the yoga, the friends you made, the books you read, the documentaries, all of this stuff, this personal development stuff that you might have been working on to kind of work through all of your stuff, that is your anchor as an individual, right? That's everything that's going to help you continue to regulate your own nervous system and really keep turning up for yourself. So the more you can also lean into that, that's really going to help ground the absolute shit out of you. And number 5, be honest with yourself about, is this anxiety familiar? Because I think sometimes we put things down to like, this is just dating anxiety. And sometimes it is. And that's where we have to distinguish, like, is this familiar or is this something that's coming up? Is my body talking to me because, this is a new healthy connection and I haven't been in that before and it feels unsure and different? And am I really pushing myself into this new healthy, secure dynamic that I'm not really sure how to navigate just yet? So keep talking to yourself because your body's anxiety can be rooted in the uncertainty and just like like what's going on and the very natural nuanced perspectives of dating anxiety. But it can also be a new space for you, and particularly as you're moving towards more healthy, secure attachment, which is the note I'm going to leave you guys on for today. We have another little mini episode coming up about that, and I hope to see you guys there.